Michael, we've had two guests today that have been excellent. One on housing, the other one on stimulus, and they are intertwined. If the housing crisis was at least the tipping point that got the recession started, and the stimulus bill was at least supposed to be the tipping point of what was going to get us recovered.
Right.
Not all recovered at once. I understand that, and one bill was not the whole stimulus. But nevertheless, do you still wind up as a doubter?
Oh, I'm very much a doubter. And I'm a doubter on the sense that the whole world thought that this was a jobs bill.
Yeah.
That's really the way that it was presented, is we're going to save jobs or create jobs. And more of create jobs rather than save jobs.
Yeah, we had all this shovel ready. That's an important thing to remember, because everything was going to be shovel ready.
Right.
That the federal government was going to invest in.
And I think that's where everybody thought, oh, this will be instant. There will be a lot of things that take place. And as you and I know, there's a lot of stimulus money left unspent. And then there's been a lot of stimulus money that is just gone. It didn't really benefit anything long term. But I will say, in the area of, let's say, policy, there is a major shift. This bill did do a lot of those things. Going from petroleum-based investing from our country into a lot of green jobs and a lot of those things. Now, a lot of that's gone bust. A lot of that money's lost. But there was a change in direction to actually push a lot of those things. So I think policy-wise and getting D.C. to think differently, that did happen. And I think the president was very successful in that area. Where I think it failed was the whole economic reason for getting jobs. You know, if you remember, there were a lot of talk a couple of months ago or maybe a year ago about jobs saved, and they were counting jobs that how do you count a job that wasn't lost as a job saved? At what point do you say it saved a job?
Yeah.
And as you remember, when we still had earmarks on the Hill, whenever we had to do paperwork, we were told by the Appropriations Committee, for every $1 million that you spend, put down 20 jobs saved. Well, who comes up with that number?
Yeah, I mean, there were economists, and remember, I have the BS in economics, which always emphasizes the BS. But you can come up with any number that you want to, and I don't want to say that people were trying to do that, because that would sort of fit into your paranoid sense that the world is trying to boost all the Democrats, but the Republicans are somehow being, I don't know what you would say. What are they being? Ignored?
I don't think they're being anything. I'm not.
Okay.
You're trying to sell this conspiracy theory out there. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm just a realist, Howard. It works on both sides.
Well, the fact is, though, that what we have is a double-purpose bill. And I think that the president would have been better served had it been a single-purpose bill. I understand you go out on the campaign and you promise a number of things, which I think were sincere promises on his part. Having said that, and national health insurance, too. So you try to get too much done at the beginning and then teed off Congress and eventually Fox News, and that takes care of the public right there, or at least 1/3 of the public that listens to it. And
or
then,
half.
Yeah, well, we can argue over that one. I mean, there's a lot of folks who do listen to it, and people say, oh, big government. Big government. We've got to stop this. And then, of course, then we had to start printing money, which I think we're still doing, in order to keep whatever it is from collapsing, which is the economy. And now you guys are really in high gear about how everything is bad.
Well, tell me, though, Howard, what part of the stimulus do you see that was a success?
Well, I think that there were a few jobs created here.
Well, there may have been a few jobs. I'm not saying there were no jobs.
Yeah.
Anytime the federal government spends, something happens.
I thought that you were a little too kind on the energy thing, because, as you did say, it did go bust.
Yeah.
But the fact is also that there were programs in the first year of the stimulus, let's say 2008, 2009, somewhere in there, that where they were putting money into things that, say, local government wanted to have a refilling station for liquefied natural gas or whatever you can put into cars. And they wanted to get some help in doing that. Then they could have also not only done their municipal vehicles and have them running on alternative energy, but they could have made back the money by selling it to the local folks as well.
And did that happen?
No.
Why not?
Because the money was either dried up, or they said, no, we're not going to fund those kinds of things.
And a lot of the other money that I remember folks applying for were these green retrofitting of buildings and everything.
Yeah.
So folks would put their plan together. They would have an engineer come out and do everything, send it to the federal government, and then the federal government would come back and say, hey, this is a great plan. we want it to be certified or built by a certified green energy, whatever. And there are none. People couldn't find people that were certified or capable of doing it at a cost that was legitimate.
But what I fault Congress on is that they didn't say, all right, we've tried your thing, Mr. President. Let us all get together on the infrastructure. Instead, it all got to the point where you were suddenly, the Republicans, were suddenly all just all over them because they didn't want to support, and I think Mike Grunwald made this point, they were not going to do anything that supported the president.
Remember, it was Democratic House and Senate at the time.
The little details. That's why I started out by saying I fault Congress for not doing that.
They definitely could have done a lot more. We're going to have more discussions on this, possibly on our YouTube site, so go there. We'll also have more on these interviews and others. Plus, the topics we're talking about today, that's all on the website. So go there, find it on, or actually, I say website. It's facebook.com/The Inner Loop. You'll have links there. You'll have whatever else Mally G throws up.
And youtube.com, put in the words, The Inner Loop Show. That will get you to us.
Very good. We'll be back. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for listening.